Welcome 8th graders to today's Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to be your guide today as we tackle what is, honestly, one of the most vital skills you can possibly develop in our modern age. So, picture this. Have you ever been scrolling through TikTok or YouTube and seen a massive announcement? Maybe a rumor about a highly anticipated video game dropping tomorrow, or a totally crazy story about your favorite celebrity doing something completely outrageous. You get super excited, you share it with all your friends, you post about it in Discord, and then, well, a few hours later you find out it was completely fake. Man, it is a terrible feeling. You feel tricked, right? Kind of manipulated? Well, today, you're stepping into a brand new role to make sure that never happens again. You aren't just students anymore. Today, you are becoming truth detectives. We live in this incredibly complex, fast-paced digital world, and learning how to evaluate where your information actually comes from is basically a superpower. Okay, let's dive right in.
I want to anchor our lesson immediately in this really powerful biblical truth from Proverbs. It says, "The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps." You see, investigating your sources isn't just some boring school chore or, a random box to check on a grading rubric. It's actually a divine calling. God calls us to be wise, to be prudent, and to not just blindly accept every single thing we hear, watch, or read online. A prudent person takes a moment, steps back, and evaluates. Giving thought to your steps literally means giving thought to your sources and making absolutely sure you are walking in the truth.
So here is our roadmap for today's lesson. Number 1. Navigating information overload. Number 2, what is source credibility? Number 3, the 3-step credibility check. Number 4, spotting the warning signs. And number 5, the godly learner.
Section 1. Navigating information overload. Think about your daily digital life for a second here. You open your phone and bam, you are instantly bombarded with articles, videos, social media posts, news alerts. It's the whole shebang. Now, some of it is completely real, but a lot of it might look incredibly legitimate while actually being completely false. Without checking credibility, you risk spreading misinformation and totally weakening your own arguments. You end up building your knowledge on falsehoods. Imagine trying to build a beautiful, sturdy house, but instead of pouring a solid concrete foundation, you build it on squishy, sinking mud. When the wind blows, that house is going to collapse for sure. That is exactly what happens to your brain when you don't check your sources. Imagine writing a huge history paper and you base your entire argument on some random social media comment rather than a verified historical document. When your teacher grades it, your argument completely crumbles. Being able to tell which sources are credible ensures that you build your knowledge on a solid, truthful foundation. This matters immensely for your school research, obviously, but it also really matters for your personal decision-making and for just being a responsible digital citizen.
Section 2. What is source credibility?
We really need to clearly define our target for today's investigation so you know exactly what a good source looks like when you spot one in the wild. Grab your notebooks because I want you to write this punchy definition down for your homework. A credible source is accurate, it's unbiased, it's written by an expert in that specific field, it actively cites its evidence, and it is verifiable by other reputable sources. Notice how credibility isn't just one single thing, it's a whole checklist. Let's break a couple of these down real quick. Unbiased means the author isn't trying to manipulate you to buy a product or push some extreme personal agenda, they are just giving you the straight facts. Verifiable means if they state a wild fact, you can actually look it up and find other trusted places saying the exact same thing. If you fail to check these criteria, you basically become part of the problem by spreading misinformation. And worse, if you use a bad source in, say, a debate, you completely weaken your own position.
Section 3. The 3-step credibility check.
Okay, this is the practical truth detective toolkit you are going to use to investigate absolutely any claim you find online. Here's your process. Step 1. Check the author. What are their credentials? Are they a marine biologist who has studied oceans for 20 years or just someone who likes looking at fish at the local pet store? Step 2. Examine the source itself. Was this published by a recognized institution like a well-known university or a highly respected news outlet, or is it just a random forum post? And step 3. Cross-check the information. Never, ever just take one person's word for it. Let's look a little closer at how this actually works in practice.
Let's compare a medical article written by a doctor at a respected hospital with a blog post about health written by a random blogger with absolutely zero medical training. I mean, if you were sick, whose advice would you follow? The doctor, obviously. An author's credentials matter immensely because true expertise takes years of intense study, testing, and practice to develop. Look, anyone can type words on the internet, but not everyone has the actual expertise to back those words up.
Now regarding step 3, the cross-check, think of it like this. A really good detective never relies on just one single witness to close a major case. No way. They look for corroborating witnesses. If you find an article and its facts match data from 3 other reliable sources, its credibility absolutely skyrockets. You have confirmed the information. In real life, this means opening up a new tab in your browser, searching the exact same claim, and seeing if reputable sites like the Associated Press, a major university, or an established science journal are reporting it too. If they aren't, well, you need to be very, very careful.
Section 4. Spotting the warning signs.
Truth detectives don't just look for the good stuff. They are highly trained to spot the bad stuff too. Bad sources often give themselves away if you know exactly what to look for. So watch out for these 3 things. First, a page absolutely covered in pop-up ads. If it looks like a digital billboard and you can barely even read the text, they usually care way more about your clicks and your money than your education. Second, sensational headlines. If a headline screams, "You won't believe what this celebrity ate for lunch, shocking," in all caps, or makes some unbelievable claim just to get an emotional reaction out of you, be very suspicious. And third, a lack of citations. Actually, this is a big one. If they make massive world-changing claims but don't tell you where they got their proof, that's a huge red flag. These signs usually mean the information is biased, unverified, and definitely not worthy of your trust.
Section 5. The Godly Learner. I want to shift our focus just a bit here. We've talked a lot about the academic side of this, but evaluating sources directly connects to your spiritual growth and your character as a young man or woman. Consider this incredible passage from Romans 8. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Here at HeroesMart Academy, we intertwine biblical morality with our education for a very specific reason. Education without morality can actually hurt you. Giving someone immense knowledge and intelligence without a moral compass just makes them a more capable danger to themselves and to society. True intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices, rather than simply making you more capable of arguing. When we protect our minds from lies and seek the truth, we are being spiritually minded, which leads straight to life and peace.
This is the absolute core of our philosophy. I deeply encourage you to pursue academic excellence, learn to cross-check, learn to verify authors, learn to spot those terrible clickbait headlines. But as you build those powerful skills, keep your mind centered on God, truth, wisdom, and righteous choices. You aren't just learning to research so you can get an A on a paper. You are learning to research so you can be a prudent seeker of truth who brings life and peace into a world that is so often confused by falsehoods and noise.
To wrap up today's lesson, I want to leave you with this final thought and your specific homework question to reflect on. What is one example of a credible source in your daily life? Think about where you get your news, your sports stats, or your hobby information. Apply your new 3-step credibility check to it today. Go out there and be the truth detectives I know you can be. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Stay prudent, keep seeking the truth, and I will see you in the next lesson.